And we are back. Today we're in West London, arguably one of the most desirable areas in London. Now, whether it's home of the iconic Portobello Market or the world famous Notting Hill Carnival, there's so many reasons to love this area. Also, it's got amazing proximity to central London. But all of that desirability, now that comes at a price, with two beds here ranging from 600,000 all the way up to 900,000 plus and beyond. Last year, we bought this rundown one bedroom flat with a clear plan. Add value and sell it on for a strong profit. On paper, the numbers worked, but theory and practical are often very far apart. The reality is we had planning considerations, license to alters, design changes, and increased costs. But the question is, did this deal still make sense? But before we break down the deal, let me show you around so you can see exactly what we've done. Now, if you remember, we purchased this property as a one bed and it's now a two bed. Where we're currently standing was once the kitchen and is now bedroom number 2. And this single change added a significant amount of value. Now, outside of removing the kitchen, this was previously a doorway that we bricked up halfway and added a really large UPVC window to bring in more natural light. Now, considering this is a conservation area, this constituted part of our planning, but at the front of the property, we retained the single glazed windows to keep the look and feel of the area. Now, one thing you need to make sure you consider is how the property is going to look and feel. That's why I went for the white on the inside to match the internal fit, but externally, as you can see, we went for the anthracite grey to match the aluminium bifold doors and custom bespoke glazing options we have in the rear extension. Into bedroom number 2. Now, in this bedroom, initially it was just going to be a bedroom, but we decided to make a change, and that was to add in this ensuite as a shower room, making it a 2-bed, 2-bath. The rationale behind that was it creates further optionality. This could be sold to a couple, could be sold to a young family, but also could be sold to 2 sharers as you have 2 bathrooms for 2 people, making it ideal for that type of demographic. For both bathrooms, we kept the finishes timeless rather than trend-led, which is really important when you're selling rather than living in it yourself. Before I take you to my favorite part of the house, let me talk about some of the boring bits that really add value. So just here, the ceiling heights used to be really low because there was a storage heater in there. Now, installing the combi boiler meant that we could remove that and make this entrance foyer feel more grand. In addition to that, we removed this storage cupboard, added the double doors, and created this really nice home office or reading room. Through the double doors into probably my favorite part of the property, the open plan kitchen living room. Now, this kitchen is from Howdens and it's two-tone. We have the sage green on the base with the oak up top. Now, the handles are antique brass and of course all of the appliances are integrated. For the worktops, we've gone for Calcutta gold in a quartz, and that's from Meta Design. But because in a property like this, details are important, we've gone for the matching veins on the drop downs as well as the upstands to make sure that we can justify those high prices that we want to hit when we go to market. Leading on to the living room area, which is a great space for entertaining. It has loads of natural light from the custom aluminium doors, the bifold doors, the skylights above me, the additional windows, and probably one of my favorite features of this room, the custom built Oreo window, which is a great additional space and really shows that design has been thought through throughout this entire project. Post 2020, outdoor space has become increasingly important and can add a lot of value. Now, this property ticks those boxes not once, but twice, with this private garden we're currently standing in, as well as an internal courtyard. Now, to make sure we maximize values, we go above and beyond when it comes to finishing. So the horizontal slatted fencing, as well as the patio, brand new patio tiles on the floor, really making sure that the buyers can envision themselves living here and enjoying a nice summer barbecue. Now, aesthetically, I hope you agree that this project really went to plan. However, from a planning perspective, it also went quite smoothly as well. Planning was delivered in 8 weeks, which is great, but you have to bear in mind things don't always happen that smoothly. There can be delays, councils can be overwhelmed, or more recently, like there was in Westminster, there can be cyber attacks, so you have to prepare for the unsuspected. We did have one stumbling block with the local authority, and that was to do with loss of outside space, but we made up for that by offering an option to install a green roof. Now, it cost us an additional £3,000. When we looked at the trade-off of the additional cost of finance of fighting the council and not working with them, we decided to just go for what they proposed, allowing us to start works earlier. On this project, we worked really closely with our architects at AA Drafting. Now, a tip for somebody that's getting started in development, is work with architects that not only can draw, but can also understand how feasible it is to build a project. Things don't just need to be pretty on paper, they need to be deliverable and at a reasonable cost. And working with an architect that develops themselves allowed us to achieve that on this project, reducing the structural costs and keeping our build costs in budget. Speaking of members of our power team, people that I always get asked about are our builders and contractors. Now on this project, we went for 2 mains contractors. Now at the rear of the property, we had one team doing the finished shell of the rear extension to our final core. But initially at the front of the property where we were doing the 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, we had a team doing the first and second fix in that area. That meant that they were able to crack on while we were waiting for our license to alter and necessary planning, saving time, saving money and de-risking the project. Now the most stressful part of this project is probably nowhere near where you think it would be. It wasn't working with the solicitors, it wasn't working with the contractors, it wasn't even purchasing a property at auction. It was when it was finished and it looked really good, that's where my biggest problem happened. It was dealing with the local agents. Now we got valuations, and the valuations were all the way from £625,000 all the way up to just under £900,000. And whilst we want to push ceiling prices in the local area, realism always wins. If you go back to our old videos, we were targeting offers in excess of £750,000 and ultimately decided to go to market at £800,000 because we created a really good product. But I know what you lot are here for. You're here for the numbers, the nuts and bolts of the deal. So let me break it down for you. Purchase price, £460,000. Purchase cost to include auction fees, £10,000. Holding costs, £5,000. Now we also have our professional fees of a further £5,000. Our build cost was just shy of £110,000 and our selling costs off the back end were a further £10,000, bringing our grand total to just under £650,000. Overall, I'm really happy with this project. It sold first week of viewings without even going to market. Now it wasn't stress-free, it wasn't without problems, but it was a solid deal. We managed the numbers, mitigated risks, and delivered on a solid exit. Realistically, would I do this deal again? 100% yes. And a testament to that is, since I've purchased this property, the PBK community members have purchased another 10 properties on this street and streets just over, just showing the value of community, understanding, and expertise. Let me know in the comments if you would have done anything differently, and if you want a chance to join the PBK community, click the link in the description of this video.